Well, you're probably wondering why I come out to the Salt Lake here so often, and well, I do spend quite a bit of time here in this desolate place. Hello, everyone, as you come in. Roy Potter here, and it's still the 16th of June, and I just felt I had to make a closing statement today. I was pretty upset this morning. I get upset pretty easy because I see all the subterfuge and the deceit and the dangers that elites is a bad term, but for the sake of understanding, I guess that'll work. They consider themselves the masters of mankind and that they can do this as we want because God has given them that ability for whatever reason. Some would say to train us, some would say because we were fallen and we needed to be punished. I don't buy that one, by the way. I consider this to be a school. What I'm showing you here is an area just outside of Salt Lake City on the way to Tooele, Grantsville, that's out that way. And this building here, it's called Salt Air. And the reason why I decided to come here is because there's a lesson to be learned here. You know me, I like to pontificate. When the Mormons first came here, I think they knew this was a salt lake, that it was a Dead Sea, that they weren't going to be able to use it for anything. So I imagine that was no big surprise. Jim Bridger and the other people that guided them out here already knew what the area was like, so I'm sure they knew the salt lake was not sufficient. There's plenty of fresh water up in those mountains, and you have Utah Lake south of here, and plenty of ponds and lakes in the mountains. But what were they going to do with the Salt Lake? Well, they used it as a sewer dump. That was the first thing they used it for. I'm not sure that the smell today is any better than it was back then. But they, around the 1890s, they built a place called Salt Air out here. It was an amusement park, little place to gather. Actually, it wasn't little at all. The original Salt Air, and I think there have been 3 of them so far, it was huge. It had roller coasters out here. This building here, the one that existed at that time, would have been probably 3 or 4 times as large as this one. Well, that one burned down. And then they built another one, and I think that one got flooded or burned down as well. And then this one here was built in the 80s. And of course, you know, they thought that, you know, nature had changed and that man was in control of nature and that they wouldn't have any more problems like they had had in the past. Well, the year after this was built, Salt Lake itself flooded, and this building was dang near underwater. Not totally. I think you can see the water lines still if you look carefully. It's about halfway up between that the ground there and that little ledge right there. Is about halfway up that. So they built this thinking they were going to make money, and I'll be doggone if nature didn't decide to take its course again and man's plans were circumvented and even destroyed. The only reason why it's still standing is because they did build a retaining wall around it. It's not here now. But that retaining wall pretty much kept the foundation from totally getting disintegrated because the salt water in the Salt Lake is absolutely caustic. Anyway, so they had to clean it out. It took them a couple of years, and then they put some little retail shops in here, and then they use it as a music venue primarily. You can see me in the reflection there in the windows. I've been here several times. I don't think you'll be able to see much in there. They use it as a concert hall primarily now. I think you can rent it out for some other things too, but I came out here to see Robert Plant. And Robert Plant, of course, is the lead singer for Led Zeppelin, and then he went off on his own. And said when he came out, his repertoire, first thing he said is, "This place smells awful." And I was surprised he could even sing, because it was pretty bad that night. It was in the summertime, so the lake is really bad then. You get this really nasty brine stench out here. It's here even now. I cannot convey to you what that's like. It's pretty bad. So anyway, my point is, the best laid plans of mice and men often go astray. Or maybe it's go awry. I forget right now. See how big this is? The sun's pointing in the wrong direction, so I know the exposure is kind of nasty. But I think you get the idea. And I'm holding my phone, so I know it's wiggling quite a bit, and I apologize. So what's my real purpose in wanting to come on tonight? Well, I check the news. I continue to do that. No major or shattering things are happening. It's all disaster. But I saw Nancy Morgan Hart's most recent postings on the videos on her YouTube channel. And then I saw Dave Hodges one up that I thought was very good. And then a retired Army officer, or I'm sorry, I think he's Air Force, maybe he is Army, that I follow on Twitter, COL Maness, who writes in a blog and puts out some really good stuff. He mentioned about Americans on their knees and where that's leading us right now. So hopefully it worked. I posted all three of those in the description box with the links. Now this is the first time I've done that off of my phone, so I'm not sure how effective it's going to be, if it actually even took for you all to see. And I can't see the chat. It's too bright out here for me to look at the screen, so you'll have to apologize. I'll have to apologize to you for that. What you're looking at out there is, in fact, the Great Salt Lake. It's receded right now. The water will come up here over the summer and fill in this area. It won't be very deep here. I think the deepest the Salt Lake gets is like 25 feet, maybe 30. I might be wrong about that, but it's something like that. That's Antelope Island out there. Buffalo are out there. They have a couple of restaurants and a boat goes out there in a little recreational area. Lands around here. Looking back at the Salt Air building there. So at any rate, this morning as I came on, you all know how I was feeling. And I know people got upset by some things I said. If I didn't upset somebody, I'd be wondering if I said anything that was worthwhile. A lot of you said, well, why do you loathe? God doesn't want you to loathe somebody. Well, sometimes you speak from emotion, and sometimes you speak because you're inspired. So I'll let you decide which it was for me, whether I was just being emotional or whether I was inspired, and maybe, just maybe, God inspired me to say that and speak, be the mouthpiece. I'll let you decide if that were the case or not. And it doesn't hurt my feelings either way. Whatever you decide upon, you can make your own judgment. The other thing is, I was telling a story about how unfortunate it is that so many women have bought into this whole thing, and now it's turned against them with SCOTUS doing what it did yesterday. Might even draft women on the next war, which is something I would say hanging politicians myself at that point, and I'll just say it publicly. Nobody's going to take my daughters and do that to them. Or even my former wives, for that matter. hopefully I'll hold on to the signal from here. I'll finish my story up. So anyway, as I was saying, she got pretty nasty about some things, and I told her, if you're not going to act like a lady, I'm not going to treat you like a lady. And that's my philosophy today. Anyway, I don't think God does either. What he's been doing and not doing. So what I would suggest is that you go look at the 3 links in the description box below. The COL Maness read will take you 5 minutes maybe. And then Dave Hodges and Nancy Morgan Hart with Headlines with a Voice, Dave Hodges with Common Sense Show. Each of their videos are only about 5 minutes. But considering what we're facing, where this is going, what they have to say is extremely important. And I would hope that you take what they say and apply it. You really need to. We all need to. As a matter of fact, it might be better. Tired of gloom. Yeah, who is this? Liza Jean. Hi, Liza Jean. Hi. You're the one that I always forget to mention as a mod. Yeah, I know I'm tired of the gloom too, but my dear friend, I would be remiss if I pretended that all was well. It should be. There's no reason for us to be in this state of gloom, consternation, strife. But I didn't bring it on us, Liza Jean. There are those who do want to continue it though, and so if I don't call out, then I am as guilty. But that's why I decided to put this up, because there is an alternative position that we can take. It's not an easy one. It's not really good. But it's the best I think we can hope for at this point. First of all, that we have to rely on God, that we don't need a king or a president. They've never worked out for us, ever, ever, ever. When the Israelites first said they wanted a king, God told Samuel, you know, it's not you they're rejecting, it's me. But we're not supposed to have a king. We're supposed to have the law of God written in our hearts and in our minds and govern ourselves. God gives us correct principles and he wants us to govern ourselves. He never wanted us to have kings over us. We elected to do that. Read the story about it in Samuel. About when they're saying they want a king and they end up getting King Saul, who wasn't, by the way, a Judahite, which was supposed to be the prophecy that the scepter would be under Judah. And Saul was a Benjamite. So God put the screws to them right off the bat for their unrighteous desires. Well, so anyway, Liza Jean, I know what you're saying. So that's why I wanted to put up these things that are in the description box. So COL Maness gives you basically a political, an historical, and a warrior viewpoint on where we are, where we're going. It's going to be very similar to what Rich Higgins gave us. His was very was a real short outline synopsis, but COL Maness gets into some details. Please read it, and then you'll understand why I have been so upset by what I've seen. Yeah, I agree that you would think that we're better off, Liza Jean, than if Hillary was in, but it's only a matter of how fast it's been happening. That's all the difference there is. The difference isn't what's happening, the difference is the speed with which it's happening. And yes, it did slow down because they knew they had us here that they had to convince to go along with it. But make no mistake about it, we're headed in the same direction, and we are going to get to the same place. Maybe not as quickly, but I'll tell you what, I would rather know where we were up front with Hillary than to be put over with this deception from Trump that we've had. And that's just how I feel about it. And I think a lot of people are starting to get that way. Liza Jean, really. Look at what Dave Hodges is saying. Look, even Dan Bongino, I know he's starting to ask questions. He still says he supports Trump, But what we need to do is support principle and truth. And I know that seems like a real simple answer, but it's like I said, we were never supposed to have kings over us. We're supposed to rule ourselves. So anyway, read Colonel Maness's little essay there. It's in the description box. And then go listen to the link goes to Nancy Morgan Hart of Headlines with the Voice, and then Dave Hodges' Common Sense Show. They're all three in the description box. I hope they made it. And again, I was able to see Liza Jean because oh, thank you, Liza Jean. I can see yours because you're bright yellow and you've got the wrench. I can't see anybody else's. Not too well anyway. But yeah, I hold Trump's feet to the fire, but it hasn't helped. And even you'll hear Dave Hodges say, Trump's not listening to us. He's listening to the elites. He's listening to his handlers. He's taking us down a road, and he's doing it knowingly, and he's putting us all in great danger at this point. Very great danger. And he's doing it knowingly. It's starting to rain. I'm going to head over to the building here. I don't know how much time I've got left on this data dump. We can't accept his excuses any longer. I don't think God wants us to accept his excuses any longer. He's a sheep. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's a devil posing as an angel of light. And I can say that because I gave him every chance in the world. I gave him every benefit. And he turned away from God, and he turned away from his oath, and he turned away from the truth. And now he's seeking, albeit with every means possible by himself, so that he has plausible deniability and won't have to take responsibility, which, as I said, has been the mark of his presidency, that he doesn't take responsibility. He's taking us down the road of mandatory vaccines, which are, in fact, going to be, the mark of the beast. They even admit it. It's going to be used for tracking, for digital currency, everything, just like the Bible talks about, just like all the things that we've been warned about. He's doing it knowingly. He's not doing it ignorantly. I wish I could answer a lot of your questions. We've handed a lot of our rights over freely. Yeah, we haven't stood for them. We haven't, as I told you, a judge told me, you have to belligerently demand and defend your rights. Oh, okay. I guess you're talking to somebody else, Liza Jean. Like I said, I can't see my stuff. Yeah, we've been worse off under Hillary. But again, as I said, it was just a matter of time, how much time it would take. The end result would be the same. I'm not saying we made a bad choice giving Trump a chance. We were telling the system, we were telling everybody, we were telling the elites, we were telling the New World Order, we're done. Trump says he'll do this, we want Trump. The problem was, Trump really wasn't on our side. He just pretended to be. He was a salesman. He saw what the market wanted, and he sold us what he thought we wanted. That's all he did. Okay, I'm not going to pontificate anymore. I just wanted to show you the area here, show you this whole place, kind of give you some background as to what happened here and how it's very similar to what's happened to us, and how we think that we're so high and mighty. Man is nothing. Without God, man is nothing. Yeah, we were right. Good, Liza G. We were given some time, and under the lockdown, we have more time to observe the insanity and talk. Very good, Liza G. Thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. I hope you know that. I appreciate everybody. People that have reasonable things to say, not just call me names or, just make outrageous accusations. Okay. I've probably taken enough of your time. I want you to go listen to those two videos, the one by Nancy Morgan Hart that's in the description box below, the one from Dave Hodges in the description box below, and make sure you read Colonel Maness's little article that I posted there with the link, and I hope they're all correct. I hope they came through all right. All right? Okay. It's time that we look to God as our King. We've given men all the chances they need. We don't need to give them any more. They can represent us in the halls of power, but when they get there, it seems like inevitably they turn into God himself. They try to. And we can't let them do that anymore. Trump was the last straw. Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you have a great night. All right. I don't think I'll be back on tonight, but you never know. All right. And ladies, be ladies. If they can put men in dresses and put men in to act as women, you can stand for that. So let your light so shine, ladies. Be ladies, be women. Be the crown of creation you were and are supposed to be. Out here for now.